Hello everyone, I am here today with a book review of Evertrue by Brodi Ashton, and it is the third book of the Everneath series. I read this earlier in January, and I just forgot to do a book review on it. So I was going through my Kindle yesterday, and I have 2 book reviews that I want to do, and then I'm like halfway through the second book of The Madman's Daughter, so I'll be having a lot of uploads lately. So overall, I enjoyed the Everneath series. In my opinion, it wasn't something that was like super awesome cool, but it was interesting enough that it kept me entertained and kept me wanting to read the series. But I just have kind of mixed thoughts and feels. What the series is about a girl named Nikki, and for reasons that you will find out later, she traveled to the Underneath with a guy named Cole, and he is an ever-living, meaning that they can live forever. But in order to do so, every 100 years there is a massive feed, and they need to feed on someone for 100 years. He takes Nikki down to the feed. She spends 100 years basically having kind of her life drained out of her, and when she goes back up into the surface, she is unlike everyone else in the feed, and Cole wants to make her his queen of the underworld, but she doesn't want that. And there's a whole lot more that goes on into the story, but that's kind of the basic gist. It has a lot of mythology in there, which was really what kept me interested. I like the mythology of, Persephone and Hades, and each book kind of has a different mythology story within the story, and they all kind of connect. So if you have not read the series, I will put the first book link below in the About section, and you can go check it out and see if it's something for you. I liked it. Again, it wasn't something that's like, oh my god, this is fantastic, but I highly enjoyed the story, and it was enough to keep me entertained. So I like the series, or else I wouldn't be here telling you about it. So this is all for the non-spoilerly section. If you have read Evertrue, stay tuned and I can talk about the little things that I made little notes on in my Kindle. So bye! So what I had the most trouble, I guess, in this book with is I felt that, at least in the very good half of the book, it was about Cole, and I understand that he is very instrumental in this book and it offers a different view on Cole, but at the same time I was really wanting it to focus on Nikki and her purpose of destroying the Everneath. And while eventually she does, I just felt that the majority of the book just really focused on Cole, and it kind of, I don't know, I didn't really like it. I also didn't like that Cole's memories or whatever were erased, and so you see this more vulnerable side of Cole, and that's just not Cole to me. I would have liked him to stay the kind of manipulative person, but, find his own way of redemption instead of through conveniently forgetting about everything and, oh, well, he's innocent now, and that's just not, I kind of felt like it was a cop-out, and I didn't really like that. This whole time, my theory of how the book was going to end was that somehow Nikki wouldn't be able to destroy the Everneath, and that she would become an ever-living, and Cole would end up sacrificing himself in order to make Jack an ever-living. And so that way Nikki and Jack could have ruled the underworld together, but that didn't happen. If my theory didn't work out, I do like the way it ended. I believe they had mentioned it sometime before Cole decided to sacrifice himself, or maybe it was like when I saw the queen disintegrate. I was like, oh, so when their heart is destroyed, they become human again, but if they've been human for, over 100 years, obviously they're going to disintegrate into dust and, no longer be human. So I kind of put that together before Cole had actually told Nikki that, he's like, what's gonna happen. And then it kind of finally clicked for Nikki. I hated that, Nikki kind of knew that Cole was going to die, or I think she was just kind of in denial. And so when Cole was like, if there's anything you'd like to tell me now. And I think he was asking, do you forgive me? And she was like, well, I'll tell you someday. I think she was just in denial of what was going to happen, but I wish she would have, like, I know she couldn't have forgiven him in that point in time, but at the same time, I would have liked her to say something, like, thanks for helping me out, bruh. That was great. You know, just something that could have, like, given him some peace at the end, you know? I did shed a little tear when Cole was about to die and Nikki was like, okay, give me your heart so that way I can break it, because they were supposed to break each other's hearts. And so he just kind of kissed her and said, you already had it, and then broke his own. And I think that's when the tears kind of started coming. I was like, oh my god. Another part where I didn't cry during it, but like, you kind of just felt like your chest tightened, and was when the band, when they died, you're like, oh my god, like, yeah, like, let's rescue them, let's go. And then the next thing you know, it's too late and you see them all explode into blood vapors, or at least that's how I imagine it in my mind. And that was just really like, I can't believe that just happened. It happened just so fast that, like, it really took me a while to just sitting there and not reading, like, did that just happen? Reading it again. Oh my god, that just happened. I thought something terrible was gonna happen to Will when, after the feed and the band is vaporized, basically, and Will's like, I'll distract the shades, and he just like runs away. I was just like, don't let anything happen to Will. Don't go, Will, don't be a hero. But he survived, so it was all good. I do like the ending of Nikki realizing Cole's redemption and her being able to forgive him and move on. And, you know, she said that she forgave him the minute that he broke his heart. I was glad to see that finally, you know, she had forgiven him for everything, because, I mean, it doesn't make it right, but, you know, there were motives behind what he did. I think he wasn't trying to be malicious is the thing. So I was glad that Cole finally got his redemption at the end, and that everything was kind of a happily ever after, but wasn't. It wasn't perfect. But Nikki and Jack were able to finally go forth in pursuing their happily ever after. So let me know what you guys thought of the book. Again, I have mixed feelings, and I still haven't processed exactly how I feel. It's hard to hate the last book of a series because it kind of just ties everything together. And so I think if I would have read this on its own, maybe I wouldn't have liked it so much. But because it is the last book of the series, again, it's really hard to hate the last book that ties everything together and gives a conclusion, you know? So comment below, tell me what you thought of this book if you've read it. And if you have not, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and you can follow me on Goodreads, Twitter, and on Tumblr. So until then, I should have, in the next few days, a book review on Into the Still Blue, and then shortly following that, Her Dark Curiosity, which is the sequel to The Madman's Daughter, which I highly enjoyed, and now that I'm out of my reading slump, I'm enjoying the second book as well. So until next time, bye!